You can do it, AMC. We just hit our intraday highs up 22.5%. We have been talking about this end of the week mega bout, and we're going to kind of talk about that here in this video, what's going to happen next week, as well as the big catalyst that is next week and how high we can go by the end of the day today. But what I smell in the air, baby, is FOMO buyers, and that's the first thing that we're going to talk about here kicking off this video. And this was really brought to my attention, and something that I want to clear up first things first is big shout out to Edward Morgan, all you guys that comment on these videos. I do love and appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you for supporting this channel. But Edward Morgan says, strange on Fidelity. 54% buys, 46% sells. And what is really going on and why you can see just a higher ratio of sellers to buyers today, or a more even amount than what we've seen over the past, even last week, where you'll see 70% buyers, 30% sellers. It's because, and why we're moving up so much is because people want to get into these positions fast. So you could have a bunch of sellers, right? Or even a bunch of buyers on a down day that are not willing to pay more. So a way to put this into perspective, right? If you are seeing 30% sellers and 70% buyers like we've seen over the past week, but those buyers are only willing to pay a couple cents more than the last guy or the same as the last guy, and the sellers, they're willing to sell for a lot cheaper, you could see the stock go down even though there is more sellers in that pie per se, or on that side. Whereas today, you're seeing that more even ratio, but the sellers, they're not willing to sell the stock for that cheap. They want the most amount of money, and the buyers, they're willing to pay more to get into these positions. So that is first thing, what is going on today. Overall, with the FOMO buyers, you see this everywhere, and that is really the X factor that has really been hard to price in. And when it comes to the MOAS, that's really the one thing that is going to push this thing up even higher and ultimately force the shorts to cover is the FOMO buyers. And that is here in the marketplace yet again. And I don't think a 22% move is going to be thrown under the table even starting next week. I think this is likely to continue, as Mondays are typically our best days. We also have a major catalyst as well that is next week, which we'll talk about later on into this video. But first things first, as far as the Ortex data, we are not getting any indications that short sellers by and large are covering on their short positions today. So I simply think this is a lot of FOMO buyers as well as the market makers that are having to buy a ton of stock. And we'll talk about that in just 1 second. But current estimated short interest of free float, 20.48%. Current shares that are sold short, 105 million shares. Return shares at about 1 million. Borrowed shares, 1.66 million. Short interest change for the day, 0.59% to the positive. Share utilization is 79.43%. Days to cover at 2.54. So it's very hard for shorts to get out of their short positions, or even for the market makers to hedge out all of these options. And this has been the main theory about this mega bounce end of the week. We nailed it. No other way to put it. I really stuck my neck out on the line for this because I wholeheartedly in my soul believed this would happen. And it's very great to see this actually coming to fruition, because like I said, I put my head on the chopping board. I was going to get either a lot of hate or a lot of love per se for coming out and saying this. Hopefully you guys made a lot of money if you are subscribed and you follow this channel. Now, as far as the market makers, what is actually fueling this move today, or part and part on top of the FOMO buyers and the short-term shorts that are exiting their positions? Not shorts by and large, but the shorts that just want a 10, 20, 30% that don't want to be in this for the bounce back to the 30s or the 40s. On top of that, the market makers, the puts that were in the money are now running out of the money in massive numbers. We've seen 70,000 puts that have ran from into the money, out of the money today. And today is the last day to expiration. So you're seeing instant hedging. And this is really the main thesis of this end of the week bounce, was the instant de-hedging that will have to happen. 70,000 puts that were in the money that are now out of the money. That is 7 million shares that had to instantly be de-hedged for. Same thing on the call side. We only seen a little over 10,000 calls that were in the money yesterday. You're seeing about 80,000 calls that are now in the money as of today. 90,000 total that are in the money. for today. So that's 8 million shares that had to be hedged for and bought by the market makers on the call side, as well as another, 7 million on the put side. So all in all, that's what, 15 million shares that had to be bought by the market makers today. Add on FOMO buyers and the short-term shorts that don't want to be in this thing to face the full wrath and anger of the retail investors when it bounced to 30 or 40. That is why we are seeing this end of the week bounce. And we also did get a bit of good news, but I don't think this is the main reason why AMC is actually bouncing so hard today. So this tweet came out 4 hours ago. I went over this in the last video. If you guys have already seen this, feel free to skip to after this part. But it's never bad to just hear it again. So 4 hours ago, Adam Aaron tweeted, just staggering Spidey numbers. 1.1 million people watched the new Spider-Man movie at AMC theaters in the US yesterday. Biggest AMC opening day grosses for a December movie ever. Second biggest opening at AMC of all time. Biggest one-day sales for any movie in all of 2020 and 2021. And that is a big round of a fucking applause, guys. This is showing you AMC is in business, baby. We're not even just investing in a short squeeze trade that is dog shit. This company is actually almost literally breaking their all-time records. And this stock used to trade in the mid-30s. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to justifiably value the stock, especially where we were at over the past couple of days. $20.20 per share is that low that we hit. I think it makes sense to buy the stock, even not fully on a fundamental basis, but your downside at that point is very limited. Even where we are at right now, at, $30 per share, I think the downside is still quite limited at the current moment. What, 50% downside down to $15? That's like anybody could make a fundamental valuation case at 15. It makes a lot of sense to play AMC. The risk to reward ratio makes a whole lot of sense. Now let's talk about this catalyst for next week. And like I'll say this again, Edward Morgan, shout out to you. Appreciate you, man. He says also next week, I expect Matrix Resurrection to break Spider-Man's record. And I do actually think that could be the case as well. And I think this could be another big FOMO catalyst. Or if not break Spider-Man's record, come very, very close. And this does open here on December 22nd. That is next Wednesday. And ultimately, I think we'll have that bounce on Monday, Tuesday, and then this catalyst on Wednesday. We could go insane next week. And that is very key to point out. Just from my personal in real life experiences, I've seen a lot of people talk about Matrix. I've seen a lot of people say that they are going to see this movie. So I think that's going to be good next week. I think the FOMO buyers are going to last. I think the shorts are getting squeezed out of their positions, not by and large, but the guys, like I said, that just wanted 10, 20, 30% that got that and now are getting squeezed out of their positions with the days to cover so high. This is leading into a lasting effect, and this is going to last, in my personal opinion, days. And this is something I've seen, like I said, for a while now. It's great to see this coming to fruition. And I think investors overall, at the same time, when the NASDAQ, S&P, and the Dow are all down quite substantially, S&P down almost 1%, Dow Jones down 1.25%, NASDAQ only down 0.17%, Russell 2000 up 1%, carried by AMC. I think a lot of investors, more like traders, but definitely some investors that are in some of these stocks, especially your Dow stocks, are going to take a look at AMC for a hedge to their portfolios if the markets continue on this downturn. Ultimately, that is even leading us closer to the margin calls, and margin calls could be right around the corner, if not already happening. To see AMC up 23%, I think it's ignorant to say margin calls are not happening to some extent. I think there is margin calls happening, especially since, like I said, the markets have pretty much been selling off, and it's really only being held up and propped up at these higher levels, the broad market, S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, because of the top 10 holdings. Your Googles, Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, Facebook, Microsoft, these stocks that are holding up, your mid-cap, small-cap stocks are beaten into the ground. No other way to put it. So if you're not invested in those 10 stocks or heavily concentrated in those 10 stocks, this move today, if you're short on AMC after this move, you're definitely seeing margin calls. And that's exactly what I think is going on. Now, let's take a deeper look at the technical analysis because we are at daily all-time highs, baby. Let's go. Let's get it. I'm so excited, man. It's great to see this. But we are having a clean break above $26.50 per share and $28 per share. The support resistance levels I have had drawn out. I do believe $28 will be a support level. If we can break out past the 200-day moving average, just forget everything. We could start the MOAS. We could see an incredible amount of margin calls. We could see craziness, and I don't want to get you guys too excited. I'm already pretty damn excited. 23% move. We have not seen that in months, and I don't want to go out and say the MOAS is confirmed, it's going to happen or anything like that. But if we break out past this resistance level at the 200-day moving average that we have seen since we did fall under this December 1st, literally the first day of December, then you're definitely going to see a lot more traders, a lot more margin calls, and especially if we get good news next week, the sky is the limit. We're also seeing relatively high volume, 95.8 million shares that have traded hands, but comparatively to the last 20% move that we did see back here August 24th, we moved up 20.34%. We had 225 million shares that did trade hands, and this just continued on this rally after this big movement back here. So I definitely think we're heading back up to the mid 30s, 40s, 50s, or even 60s here in the near term future. So big congratulations to everybody. Thank you guys for supporting this channel. This is going to wrap up this intraday update on AMC. Make sure to stay tuned on this channel for the end of the day wrap up. We're going to go over all of this information in the most clear, precise way possible. Hope you guys are excited. If you are, hit the like button for me. If you're holding your stock, or if you just want to help push this video out to as many people as possible, hit the like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know down below in the comment section what do you guys think about this move, and still just hit another intraday high. This is incredible, up 24%. My mind is just absolutely blown. So love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.